I found this news article entitled Israel Rediscovers Shema in Time for Blood Moons very interesting. And considering the fact that Israel really hasn't observed this practice for almost 2,000 years, ever since the destruction of the second Jewish temple in 70 AD by Titus, the Romans, who came in and burnt out that temple. So the question is, why is this such an important event now, all of a sudden, in the nation of Israel? What's all the concern about? Well, the blood moons are very, very significant in Scripture and in prophecy, as you're going to be seeing. Now, I did make a video outlining the different events that took place during the past blood moons. Very, very significant, and since we are on the cusp now of the next four events of these blood moons, it becomes very, very interesting to pay attention to what is going on. And Israel is paying attention to what's going on. And the question is this: why all of a sudden, after all of these years, almost 2,000 years, is Israel embracing the blood moons? I believe that it is a product because we are going in to the last days, the beginning of the tribulation period, very, very shortly. Let's see what the article says. It says, Washington, why are so many Christians in the U.S. and elsewhere standing up and taking notice of an Israeli government action to set aside $29 million to encourage local farmers to observe an ancient biblical commandment to let their fields lay fallow every seventh year? To understand what's grabbing the attention of Bible prophecy students around the world, the confluence of events taking place in 2014 and 2015 that many suspect show the hand of God at work. Now in Exodus chapter 23, verses 10 through 11, you will find this commandment of God to Israel. In 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and thou shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the seventh year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beast of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy oliveyard. Now modern Israel hasn't paid much attention to this ancient commandment until recently. More and more farmers and consumers are expressing concern about the fruits and vegetables internationally grown and harvested in the seventh year, also known as Shemitah year or Sabbath year. Now the Israeli government and Jewish religious leaders are hoping to work together to reinstate the practice. This is really incredible. Almost 2,000 years we haven't seen this, and now definitely in the last days, they're encouraged to do this. Goes on to say the next Shemitah year on the biblical calendar begins September 25th, 2014, which is Rosh Hashanah, the civil new year. The new Shemitah budget will go to the Religious Affairs Ministry, which intends to use a portion of the funds for promotional materials and educational assistance for farmers wishing to honor the commandment. Another small portion of the budget will be used for the special ceremony that links the end of the Shemitah year, September 13, 2015, or LU 29 on the Hebrew calendar. That ceremony will take place at the Western Wall in Jerusalem during Sukkot, also known as the Feast of Tabernacles. The bulk of the appropriated funds will be used to support farmers who will suffer loss of income, but who nevertheless choose to keep the Shemitah, allowing their fields to lie fallow in obedience to God's law. But despite the government's assistance concerning surrounding the observance of the sabbatical year are complex and involve Jewish legal issues and options on how best to adhere to the command without negatively affecting the income of farmers who follow the sabbatical law and to protect the fragile agricultural economy. After all, the Shemitah has not been observed, get this, has not been observed in Israel in any meaningful way since the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD. Now, I believe that we are perfect timing for the hearts of the Jews to now, all of a sudden, after all these years, to be turning back to the precepts of God, of what He told them. And so it becomes very, very important. Now, to understand how important these events can be, because we are now going into the next 4 blood moons. I want to show you what has happened in the past, and hopefully this will encourage you to pay attention in the coming 2 years, 2014 and 2015, to what we may expect in those coming years.